Hi, welcome to Midnight Expressions. I'm Lauren Remington, and today's class is going to be a Fabergé egg for Easter. It's a little bit belated, but here it is. This one here is a beautiful emerald and gold egg. It's just incredibly baroque. It's just gorgeous. This little piece here was created using this die, and this is a Spellbinder's die. Lovely die, a very strong die. And then what I did is I used, see how pretty it is with that scrolling on it? I used a Cuddle Buzz by Anna Griffin. And it's a Acanthus is the name of it, I believe. I don't know if they still make it or not. You can probably find it on eBay if you look. You can find anything there. But see how beautiful it is in its design. I got some glue on it, but anyway, it's lovely. And then I also used this little die, also from Spellbinders. I use it as it's my go-to for fancy little insignias and things on the card. So, for instance, I like to use it sometimes on the bottom. And for all my, I did like 8 different Fabergé eggs, and on most of them I could find images of what the outside, what the egg looked like in its closed position, and then they had an image of it in an open position. So on the inside I would put the open. In this case I couldn't find an open image of this particular beautiful egg, so I just went with the same closed one on the inside, which was not quite as nice, but it's still so pretty. It's such a pretty color. Let's see what else to tell you here. And I also used on this little belt across here, I used the same embossing folder by Anna Griffin. I used it on the little piece of paper belt. So the other product that I used is this paper here, which is by SCI, and it is a like a velvet or velveteen, or anyway, it's very expensive. Even wholesale is very expensive. What's expensive is the shipping on it. The stuff is just obscenely high, and probably comes from China. I'm pretty sure it does. Everything else seems to be coming from China still, and so you don't want to waste it. Normally I would use something like this and cut out the center, and then maybe use that part on the inside of the card. I didn't do that in this case, and part of the reason is, you can see I cut out on the back, on the front that's going to go over it. I cut that out, and so you want that to show, the green to show through there, and there just wasn't enough room to do that and also cut out a big chunk of it on the inside. So I wasted a little bit this time. Don't normally do that. So I'm going to get started here, tilting you down. I've been taking too long on my videos, and I don't mean to do that. I really don't. I don't want people to lose interest in the video when it goes so far. Got my glasses. Okay, here we go. And this one here is there's a minor little border on it. It's not a huge border. And I've been really bad lately at getting these things lined up, and I don't know why. For some reason my eyeball's not been working right on that. Okay, and on these I'm going to use this Tombow. This is an 835 is the number, and it's Tombow, and it has excuse me, it's not the exact color, but it's close enough. You won't notice it. Tombows, as I mentioned in my other one. See, it has this little edge here. It looks like a paintbrush. That's actually like a felt. And the other side pops off, and it has like a pen. There we are. There's the pen. I almost never use the pen side. I always use this side. And you start in the middle, and you roll it to the one side, and then you go back to the middle and roll it to the other. That way you're not fighting with the edges. And always go back to front, back to front, back to front. In other words, you're not going this way. You don't want to put your pen anywhere near the front, because if you slip, you mess up the image. So if it slips on the back, it's no big deal. Okay, and now this takes bit of time doing this. I'm also going to go inside a little bit, inside these holes. I'm just going to go around and around. I should have done this before I started the video. I said I was going to, but forgot. Because it takes up quite a bit of time just doing this stuff. And again, by doing it from the back, you can't mess up. If you slip, you're not going to mess up your image. Whoops, and there I just, speak of the devil, there it is. I just slipped, but thank goodness we're on the back side, not the front side. Especially if you're working fast, it's really easy to slip. There's another little... Do you remember Chads? Those of you who remember the Chad fiasco in in Florida a long time ago during an election, and there were all the hanging Chads. I just had a hanging Chad on this thing. Almost done. And a little bit about this piece here, this area here that's so pretty. That was a dye that came from China. I'm pretty sure it came from China. I could be mistaken on that. It was either China or it might have come from one of my machines that I bought. It might have come from my, oh, it's not Spellbinders, it's the other one. Gemini. I think it's called the Gemini. I bought a Gemini, and I like it actually. I don't use it that often. If I'm in a hurry, my go-to is my Big Shot Pro. If I'm cutting dies by hand, that's my machine I use usually, just because it's big and it's set up and it's easy just to crank it out. Okay, so on this one, see, I want it to go on this side. So I want to make sure I'm doing this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to measure, make sure approximately okay, so that's good. So I'm going to go down here. It's hard for me to walk and chew, talk and chew gum, or even to say it, walk and talk and chew gum. But it's hard when you're working upside down like this, which I am, because I don't have the proper equipment to do a proper top-down video. It's kind of hard to get it exact. Okay, so let's see. I guess we'll do this part next. I mean, this is really easy. Once you get that part done, it's easy to put it together. So I'll kind of whip through this part. And I kind of like it this direction. And I believe I did it kind of like... Actually, I did it like so. Let me try something. I think maybe... No, it has to go more this way. Okay, it's going to lap over, it's going to lip over a little bit on that, on the green, but that's okay. It's not going to be it's not a deal breaker. And this one here, this color here is 177 in the Tombow, and it's a nice dark green. But you know what? No, I think on this one I used the, I think what I used was the 26, the 026. And the reason being, it resembles gold. It's not gold. It's not a gold color, but it looks gold enough when it's on here. It looks quite gold, and it fills in nicely. You could use black too, but black's pretty dominant color there, or lack of color, I should say. But it would really show up. This time I am breaking my rule. I'm going a little bit on the front because I want to go over some of the white. And there's quite a bit of white on this one. Okay, so there you are. See, Ta-da! And again, normally I would have these all pre-done. Now I'm going to flip this over. I'm just going to put some of these bump ups. I call them bump ups. They're adhesive foam squares. Adhesive foam squares. And one little trick on adhesive foam squares, you don't want to put them directly on the edge. This one here is a little too close. You want to give them in because they're going to be standing up anyway, and you don't want to see this from the side view. You don't want to be able to see those foams. So the other thing is, if you happen to have, the black ones are harder to find, but if you do find some, grab them because they're nice for darker images like this. I'm not using it this time. And so I'm going to put this one here. Okay, there's that. And then the only one left is this little guy, and I think I'll use a foam square on him too. Just one. Okay, like so. And I'm going to put him right down here. That's nicer with him standing up like that. Okay, so that's the front. Easy peasy. Okay, now on the inside, we'll do the same thing. We're going to use this guy here. Oops. And this is that tile that I bought off of Etsy. I don't forget which artist created this, but one of the digital designers that does background images designed it. And you buy them, you download them, and you can use them to infinity. And but you cannot resell them as a digital image, and you cannot put them into a digital imaged card that you sell as a kit. You can't do that. But you can use them in your card classes. You can use them as a kit that way. At least that's my understanding. You can read the TOWs on them and see what their different ones have different limits as to how you can use them. But I mean, it's silly to have too many limits on them or people will never buy them. But okay, so here we go. So there's the front. So this is the inside. All right, so this is the image down here. And I'm going to, again, measure it just to make sure. I'm going to go upside down so I don't get the tape on it. So I'm about, yep, about like so. And we're going to go like so, like so. It's easier to line it up once you have a general idea as to how much distance you have to work with. Okay, now on this one, I took that same SCI. Let's see if you can see it. Can you see that? Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that just beautiful? That's that same embossing folder. Now, there's something to say about continuity. I think it's extremely important, both in decorating, when you're decorating your home, that you have continuity from room to room. I hate it when you go into a home. I mean, some people like to be clever and they extra clever and they do each room differently. And oh my God, I went to one home and she had, I don't mean to offend anyone, but she had, every room was a different theme, and it was a nightmare. But it helps to have continuity to make it look elegant and nice, and the same is true with cards. So since I'm using that same, in other words, don't use 20 different embossing folders for one card. Don't use 20 different fonts if you're using font types. Here's it's just a piece of gold paper, right? The same gold that I used, did I use it on the front? Yeah, I used it here and here, same gold, this is the same folder, same embossing folder, same thing, okay? It also makes it easy when you're doing a kit and you have a big one like this. You can put multiples. I've used it so much, I gotta get some more tape on it. But you can put like, you can put multiples of your paper, like 1, 2, and you can put a couple of these on as well, 3, 4. So you can go through it pretty quickly. It just helps you on your time frame when you're working to put something together here. Okay, so now, oh, I did that, but I put, I messed up. Okay, so this here, I'm going to go right about midway, and I'm going to bend it. Bend it like bacon. Okay, so there's that one. I'm just bending it backwards just so I know about where to bend it. And then I'm going to bend it forward. Okay, And now, I shouldn't have put that on quite yet. I need to slip this under it. So, and what you're supposed to do is put, don't do as I say, not as I do. You're supposed to put this on first, onto this green part, and then put your tape on and then lay it down. I did it backwards, so I'm sorry about that. But everything there's a remedy for everything, and that proves it right there. So on this guy, I thought we already did that one. Oh, that was the front one. So there's another, here's the other one. Here's the other egg. It won't take long. We're just going to whip this around the edge real fast. Whoa, no, no, oh no, no. Whoopsie. Okay. Must have buttered my fingers. All right. La 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 la. Do, 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 do. Okay, go around the edge. I hope my videos are not too boring. I know it takes, when I don't have these pre-colored like this, it takes a lot of time, and I don't mean to take up so much of your valuable time. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to put a little bit on these feet right here, because that's where the tape's going to be. We just need a little bit on the little tootsies right there. You don't want the tape to stick out beyond them, because then it'll mess it up for, whoops, didn't get any on there. Okay. So see, there's some tape hanging out. Can you see that there's tape hanging out? Okay. So you just fold it in, keep it on the little foot, just fold it in. You don't want any on the outside. You don't want any on the pretty side. You want it all on the back side. You don't want anything on the inside, because then your card will tape shut by mistake. Okay, so we're going to go like that, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of this gold thing. Okay, so I put tape right here. So now we're going to put it right down here and right up there, keeping it on the green part. So the feet are on the green, they're not on this other tile, they're just on the green part, and the rest of it's tapped up against this part, and there's no tape anywhere else that can catch the card. Because if that happens, it'll tape the card shut, and you don't want that. Okay, so now, last part, we've got, again, this little guy. Pretty. I'm having a hard time seeing this. I hope it's a little better for you. There. And I'm just going to tape it from about the middle and the bottom. The middle and the bottom. And what that's going to do, we're going to take this, and on these they have a front and a back, and you can tell the front because it has a little bit of an indentation. Can you see that? It's real hard to see, but there's a little indentation. That side's rough and has no indentation. This has just a little bit of a margin all the way around the edge. Gosh, it's hard to see with this lighting in here tonight. I don't know why it's so bad. I'll have to check my lights. Anyway, so I'm just going to put this on the center, like so. Like so. Like so. Like so. Like so. And we can slip it, oops, upside down, this way. Ta-da! Now that's the inside, it's all done. So you got the front, and you got the inside. Nope, that's backwards. Oh my gosh. That's what happens when you do things upside down. Lord love a duck. Oh Lord, this is going to be a lousy video. I've got to redo this video. Well, I'll show you a real quick way to fix this, because we all make mistakes, right? And so if this happens to you and you get done, you go, oh my God, I did it upside down. If you're careful on taking it off, you should be able to put it back on. Let's throw a little extra tape on the edge. Gina K Design, she does such great classes, and they're I've never seen her mess up like this. Never, ever. Mine are not that clever. I'm not that good. Okay. So there. Now we can put it in. There. Okay, so there's the front. There is the inside. And see, we didn't lose anything. The card's still good. You'd be very comfortable. I'd be happy sending this out. There's no one would know that I put it in upside down. You just take it off carefully and flip it around. So there you go. And with this, again, for those who aren't familiar with the way I do things, this is used like a pocket, and you can stamp something on here, a sentiment, or you can write on it. And the other thing is, when you give it to someone, you can tell them that they can then put their own, if they're crafters, it's easy, they can put their own really fancy little, things inside. Or if they're not a crafter, they can just put a piece of white paper in there and pass it along to someone else. Right? Put their own sentiments on and pass it on and pass it on and pass it on. Because as well as I do, it takes a lot of work to make cards, and we put a lot of our emotional energy and time and expense into making these cards. And it's nice if someone didn't just look at it and say, oh, thanks, and then throw it in the garbage can. You can't hang on to things forever. I can't. I know nobody else can either. But it would be nice if they could at least pass it on and get a lot of usage out of it from one person to another to another. So I had a lot of positive comments on this card from a card class. So that's why I wanted to do a video of it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to flip you back up. Hope you enjoyed the class, and I'll try to do better next time and not make so many mistakes. Anywho, God bless you all, and happy crafting. See you next time.